2021 has been a year of big transitions and exciting inventions. Digital adoption leapfrogged due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Hello and welcome, I'm Ankit Roteja and you are watching a special edition of Tech It Out. Today we will look back at the year gone by and analyze the tech trends that ruled 2021. Let's get started. "2021 was not an easy year. The COVID-19 pandemic continued to rage around the world. The second wave of COVID-19 hit many countries hard. It had a detrimental impact on our lives and stretched healthcare systems beyond their capacity. Conditions were ripe for speeding up digital transformation in the health industry. Let's see how technology turned out to be a savior in these difficult times.
The COVID-19 pandemic kept us homebound for most of 2021. A large number of people started monitoring their own fitness and health indicators. It became a regular practice. But it wouldn't have been easy without this little gadget, oximeter, a device used to measure oxygen levels in blood. Unknown to many until the COVID-19 outbreak, the oximeter soon became a common household item. Not just pharmacies, many grocery stores too were seen selling this medical device. It became an essential part of first aid kits at home, much like the thermometer. Another health tech trend that became increasingly popular in 2021 was telemedicine. The lockdowns and surge in infections encouraged people to opt for remote medical advice and contactless healthcare services. Not just consultations, remote diagnosis and treatment of patients were also conducted using telecommunications technology. It proved to be a safe and convenient method to get a consultation, a boon for doctors and patients. Apollo Telehealth, which is one of the largest and oldest multi-specialty telemedicine networks globally, says COVID has triggered a 15-fold jump in telemedicine. These figures prove it. In 2019 in India, the market size of the telemedicine industry was around $829 million. In 2021, the Indian telemedicine market stands at $1,428 million. It's expected to reach approximately $5.4 billion by 2025. The technology is being widely adopted. In the coming years, it could be used to help improve access to specialist care in areas outside of big cities. Countries have been using drones to deliver medical supplies for a few years now. But in 2021, more nations stepped up and exploited the power of drones to improve healthcare services and fight the pandemic. Many countries such as the US, UK and Ghana started experimenting with the use of drones to deliver vaccines. India too conducted successful trials. Telangana became the first Indian state to deliver life-saving medical supplies, including COVID-19 vaccines, beyond the visual line of sight range, which happens to be over a distance of 500 meters. Canada went a step further with the use of drones in healthcare. An unmanned drone was used to deliver lungs from one hospital to another. The drone carried lungs from Toronto Western Hospital to Toronto General Hospital. The journey lasted for 6 minutes. It was done to conduct a timely transplant surgery of 63-year-old Alan Hodak. Doctors later confirmed that the transplant was successful.
It is significant and some may say, well, it's a very short distance, so what's the point? But what we've done is in that very short distance, we've proven a very important point that it's possible to do this safely. And if you could fly a drone in the middle of downtown Toronto, that means you can then send a drone across the continent to bring an organ back to our hospital. So it's an important first step.
Many other new age technologies played an important role in the fight against the pandemic. Robots were used to disinfect places and assist doctors and medical staff in hospitals. 3D printing proved to be a boon in addressing the shortage of personal protective equipment. Clearly, new age technologies played a crucial role in responding to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Moving on, our next story is about a sector that had a breakthrough year, the Indian startup ecosystem. With their disruptive business models, dozens of startups raked in millions of dollars in funding and witnessed a massive surge in valuation. And here is what's even more impressive. 40 Indian startups entered the Unicorn Club in 2021. Watch our report and see how 2021 was a real milestone for the Indian startup sector.
Over $38 billion in funding, a record number of 40 unicorn startups. The third largest startup ecosystem in the world. In 2021, India witnessed the phenomenal rise of startups. These companies took digital revolution a notch higher and made the country more self-reliant.
Without the startup ecosystem, what were we doing? We were mostly doing IT services. We were not innovating enough. Most of the products that were being built in India were questionable.
I think startup ecosystem is playing a defining role in making the country self-reliant and truly independent. And I think we should just continue to do that.
Young entrepreneurs aspired to achieve big. Investors trusted them, and the government supported their ambitions. Let's look back at the year and see some of the biggest achievements of the Indian startup ecosystem. You would be surprised to know that these companies raised over $38 billion in funding this year. That's more than the collective amount they raised in the past 3 years. The year has been significant, not just in terms of fundings, but acquisitions as well. In 2020, the number of Indian startup acquisitions stood at 144. In 2021, 155 startups had already been acquired, till August. Among the top acquired startups in India in 2021 are Big Basket, Great Learning, Play Simple, Simply Learn, Sun Source Energy, and 1MG. Large, established companies like Tata and Reliance are showing interest in acquiring startups. They are looking at startups as a source of capturing the new digital economy. India today has 82 startups that have made it to the Unicorn Club, a term used to describe firms with a valuation of more than $1 billion. But what's even more interesting is that out of these 82 startups, 40 became unicorns this year. In 2021, startups entered the $1 billion valuation club faster than ever. Startups which entered the Unicorn Club between 2012 and 2020 took an average of 7.5 years, whereas startups that became unicorns in 2021 took an average of 6.6 years. In 2021, Indian startups generated almost 200,000 jobs, the highest in 4 years. It's an indication of the growing entrepreneurial culture. Clearly, 2021 has been a glorious year for startups in India. The entire ecosystem is showing signs of maturity, and unicorns are emerging at a record pace. The startup ecosystem in India has opened up a lot of avenues for young, dynamic people. Looking at the trend, we say, if you have an idea, hold it, nurture it, and take the plunge.
We are the best and we can beat the best is an attitude with which, the youth of India has to start, building technology products.
It's the right time for us to start thinking, make in India, for Indians, by Indians.
"2021 was a huge year for space tourism. With tech behemoths competing in Earth's orbit, space tourism finally took off. 20 years after American millionaire Dennis Tito became the world's first space tourist, private companies started flying people to space for recreational purposes. Let's see how the space race shaped up in 2021.
To go to space, everybody. And two separate, two.
There was a time when only astronauts could dream of flying to space. But now, space travel has become accessible to more people. In 2021, the concept of space tourism finally took off in earnest. Three visionaries, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Richard Branson, were seen racing to space. Billionaire businessman Richard Branson inaugurated his space tourism service on the 11th of July. Branson flew alongside 5 others, including Surisha Bandla, who became the second Indian-born woman to fly into space after Kalpana Chawla.
To all you kids down there, I was once a child with a dream, looking up to the stars. Now I'm an adult in a spaceship with lots of other wonderful adults looking down to our beautiful, beautiful Earth. To the next generation of dreamers, if we can do this, just imagine what you can do. Hey!
500 feet above the runway. Main gear touchdown.
Virgin Galactic plans to start commercial operations from 2022. Its ultimate goal is to conduct 400 flights per year. Blue Origin had a successful debut space tourism flight on the 20th of July. Bezos was accompanied by 3 others, including his brother and 82-year-old barrier-breaking woman aviator Wally Funk. At age 82, Funk became the oldest person to reach space. She held that record until October, when 90-year-old Hollywood actor William Shatner, who is best known for playing the role of Captain Kirk in the Star Trek series, flew to space with the same company. Blue Origin blasted its 3rd private crew into space in December and brought it back safely. It also included the daughter of the first American astronaut, Alan Shepard. The aerospace company also announced its plan to set up a commercial space station that could be used to host science experiments and vacation getaways.
In our mission, right? Like, where does New Shepard, where do you
We're going to build a road to space so that our kids and their kids can build the future. And we need to do that. We need to do that to solve the problems here on Earth.
While Branson and Bezos debuted their space tourism flights, Elon Musk took things a notch above the rest. He sent the first ever all-civilian crew into orbit in September. For the first time in 60 years of human spaceflight, a rocket was launched into orbit with no professional astronauts on board, only 4 tourists. The stated goal of the mission, called Inspiration 4, was to encourage the democratization of space. It proved that the cosmos is accessible to crews that have neither been hand-picked nor have been in training for years. Musk has also announced ambitious plans for the future. Russia also sent a Japanese billionaire to the International Space Station. It marked the country's return to space tourism after a decade-long pause that saw the rise of competition from the United States.
Liftoff of Soyuz MS-19.
But Moscow managed to beat Hollywood to shoot the world's first full-length movie in space. Titled The Challenge, the fictional movie tells the story of a doctor who is launched to the International Space Station to save the life of a cosmonaut. Russian actress Yulia Pereslid and producer-director Klim Shipenko, along with cosmonaut Oleg Novitsky, spent 12 days in space to film the ambitious project. Coming back to space tourism, currently, traveling to space is an expensive affair. A ticket costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, but over time, prices are expected to come down.
Great question. How do you bring the cost down over time so it's more accessible to everyone? You've got to do it the same way we did it with commercial airline travel. You know, we're not even, we're really almost in the barnstormer phase, right? So these are, you know, biplanes, and they're flying into a farmer's field and charging a small price to fly people around for a few minutes in the air. That's what we're doing right now. But you know where that barnstorming phase leads? To 787s.
In 2021, we also saw companies experiment with cheaper ways to get to space. Tech company Worldview introduced helium-filled balloons to do the job. Claiming that it's a green way to travel, Worldview plans to float passengers to the edge of space. Space entrepreneur Ryan Hartman, who is the man behind this invention, believes it's very safe. 2021 will go down in history as the year when the world's richest started ferrying uber-rich tourists on rides to space.
Imagine you walk into a store, pick what you need, and just walk out, without needing to queue up for payment or checkout. Sounds unbelievable, right? But what we have described started happening in many parts of the world in 2021. Technological advancements and automation in retail are redefining the shopping experience. We bring you more details in our next report.
Technology is changing the way we shop, and we are not talking about e-commerce. Even in-store shopping experiences are evolving. Retailers are introducing self-driving carts and robotic salespersons.
It'll work for me?
And now we even have cashier-free stores. You heard that right. Teased by Amazon in the US a few years ago, the trend is now catching up with retailers worldwide. In 2021, the checkout-free shopping experience took off in many other parts of the world. This store in Paris jumped on the bandwagon and experimented with a connected store where you don't scan your products. 10 seconds to shop and 10 seconds to pay. This is the promise of French multinational retail corporation Carrefour's new concept.
So you can see the shelf that I'm touching is highlighted.
You enter and select your products. The magic happens at the time of payment. Shoppers don't even have to take the items out of their bags. They just have to stand in front of a tablet, which then displays their content. To find out which products have been selected, 60 cameras observe the customer from the walls and the ceiling. People then validate their basket on the screen and pay directly on the tablet or on an automatic checkout without a cashier's assistance. Right on the edge of the City of London, this supermarket has had a technological makeover. This Tesco store was the first from the British supermarket chain to go fully contactless. Customers can leave the store uninterrupted by using the supermarket's app, which will automatically deduct money from their bank card. Also, customers don't have to worry about long queues. This was just a trial in a single shop, but customers are now eager to see the expansion of this technology to other stores.
When you're inside, you definitely don't feel like you're doing a normal shop initially, and leaving was amazing because I felt like I was stealing. But obviously, I think they've done a great job, worked pretty well.
This shop wasn't the first contactless one to open in the British capital. Giant online retailer Amazon too had launched a contactless grocery shop in London in 2021. Called Amazon Fresh, it happens to be Amazon's first ever physical store outside the United States.
You download an app, you scan a QR code when you enter, and that's all you need to do. It automatically knows what you've got in your basket, and when you leave the shop it charges you and bills you automatically to the account you set up.
The alphabet of Taste Supermarket in Moscow has also adopted the concept of automation in retail. Customers here use a QR code to enter the Take and Go department and then do exactly that. Take the food they want and then go. There is no queuing up at a cashier's till, no scanning barcodes, no handing over cash or cards. Technology monitors what each customer takes. The appropriate payment gets deducted from their account automatically. The shelves have built-in scales, so supermarket managers know exactly what stock is out on the shop floor at any given moment. A network of cameras is used for surveillance. The Middle East also got its first completely automated cashierless store this year. Retail giant Carrefour rolled out its vision for the future of the industry in a cavernous Dubai mall. The Carrefour mini market looks like any ordinary convenience store, brimming with sodas and snacks. It has a sophisticated system that tracks shoppers' movements, eliminating the checkout line and allowing people to grab the products and walk out. 5 minutes after shoppers leave, their phones ping with receipts for whatever they put in their bag. Technology is reinventing retail and transforming the shopping experience. We are sure of a more widespread use of these emerging trends in the years to come.
Well, that's all I have for you in our year-end show. Rest assured, we will continue to see tectonic shifts in the tech space in 2022. For now, goodbye, wish you good health and a happy new year.